Thank you, Rich. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Buehler. And let's get right down to it. We've got round 10 action here from Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir. Hello and welcome to coverage of Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Buehler, and we are just about underway here in round number 10. This is Booster Draft, and we've got a bit of a rematch here, actually, Randy. We've got Shota Yasuoka. You can take a look at him right there. He's got one Pro Tour top 8. He's a gold pro from Japan, and yesterday he faced down his opponent this round, although it was in the standard portion, Adrian Sullivan of the United States. He's got a pair of GP top 8s. Interestingly, they were 15 years apart. He is what we call old school. This is his 17th Pro Tour appearance, and he is a sportsman. You see a handshake from him there with Shota before they get underway. What happened yesterday? Who won? So they played a control mirror, and Shota won, and seemed very happy with the way he played the matchup. I mean, a lot of it, Shota just was putting on a clinic. Shota actually, that's Adrian's only loss of the tournament. Shota yet to pick up a loss. He's actually in first place all by himself at 8-0-1. Funny enough, when they sat down to play, Adrian accidentally pulled his constructed deck out of his backpack, and Shota was like, okay, let's do it. If you watch a lot of coverage, you'll know this, but if you don't, Shota Yasuoka is considered by many to be one of the top brewers in the world. You know, one of the top constructed players and brewers. He brings some pretty great stuff in that capacity, but it seems to be his reputation that he's had a hard time picking up enough wins in the limited rounds, you know, to make the number of top 8s that I think a lot of people think that he should or would have. But it turns out here, he's currently 4-0 already and looking to improve, though Adrian Sullivan is going to do his best here to make that not happen. Yeah, dashing out the Mardu Scout, tapping down. It's a pretty good start from Adrian. And Adrian always plays like this. Yes, his cards are upside down. He has consistently for 20 years now always played his cards such that they face his opponent. Yes, it is one of the more divisive. Whenever he gets on camera, you get a bunch of people saying, well, that's kind of cool, and a bunch of people saying, I can't tell what's going on. So you can make your own decision on it at home, but this is how he always plays. Lands in front and cards upside down. I mean, are the lands actually in front, given that the cards are upside down? I don't know how to do that. Like, from Shota's perspective, it's lands creatures, right? It's just like Shota has 2 boards. I don't know if this counts as lands in front. I think yes, but it's not clear. I'm going to say yes. All right. As Adrian Sullivan here continues to develop his board with the Sabertooth Outrider, he passes the turn back to Shota Yasuoka, who's got Airy Bowmasters, which is super solid card in this format, as well as the Dragon Scarred Bear, which both look to be on defense now. And Adrian's board is just full of odd aesthetic choices, too. He's clearly brought his own land. He's playing with foreign black-bordered basics. Beta basics, yeah. Well, they're 4th edition cards. There's a mix, actually, of Japanese and Chinese. So all the art matches, but the cards are not actually identical because there's some Japanese and some Chinese mixed together. It actually might be Korean. I can't quite tell the difference between Korean and Chinese from this distance. Japanese and Chinese sounds like my first impression was correct. So do those count as matching basics? I'm just full of questions this round. I'm sorry. I'm not sure I really was prepared to field these type. If you ask me a flavor question, I'm really going to just. All right. All right. Sprinting Warbrute. Sprinting Warbrute now for Shota Yasuoka, and maybe he can turn around this race here. He did attack first with his Dragon Scarred Bear, and then played the second main phase Warbrute. It does have to attack every turn. Doesn't have haste unless you dash it. But he is going to have to rumble with that thing every turn thus further. But a 5/4 blocker is pretty good, even temporarily. Yeah, I think he was happy to have a turn of the ability to block. So everybody rumbling here. And we do get the trigger. Yeah, Adrian does, in fact, have enough power on the battlefield for formidable. So That's going to make the Saber-Tooth Outrider, which always has trample, but when it attacks and if you have Formidable, it triggers, and you also get first strike out of the deal.
But Warbrute trades with the Wandering Champion.
15. Good.
Yeah, Shota definitely needed to block, was happy to get to block. I think he's content to trade there. But Adrian just reloads.
Yeah, well, that could
staying on his front foot.
It could, but it could put Adrian behind here. The Glaring Age is falling off there. He basically gets 2-for-1s. You know, this isn't a good long-term game plan, so Adrian needs to try to close this game out as soon as he can.
Oh, yeah, he's not playing a long-term game. He's playing a, I've got you at 6, and I've got this 4-power first striking trampling attacker guy. He just wants to deal those last 6 points before Shota has time to sort of set up his defenses.
Yeah, so you can see a Tarkir Ifrit is the face-down card there for Sullivan. Really, one of my favorite cards in the format of late. It's so powerful.
Yeah, here's Epic Confrontation, though. Shota gets to kill something.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to take out the Saber-Tooth Outrider, the known threat.
And not the face-down creature.
Right, which is potentially scary, but he knows that the Outrider's good, so he's going to take that down. Also, Shota is going to be aware that Adrian is still holding that Mardu Scout in his hand. Remember, he dashed that out early in the game. Draconic Roar off the top for Adrian. Wow, that's pretty nice here.
Adrian also a little pinched on mana, and Shota knows that. There's only 4. There's a limit to how scary the morph can be.
But, I mean, he could close out this game right away. Could Sullivan, you can see he's in the tank here with that stern, cross-armed, thinking look. But Draconic Roar can take down Summit Prowler. And if he has a dragon to reveal, could even get 3 damage in to Shota Yasooka as well. And try to set up some type of dash turn down the line where he can just run around the other creatures.
Just the 1 red mana, though.
Yes, that turn will not be this turn.
He can either Draconic Roar or Mardu Scout dash or flip a Tarkir Ifrit, but no 2 of those things.
Yeah, I think his line is probably going to be something like attacking with his Tarkir Ifrit. I think he wouldn't mind trading it for the Airy Bowmasters. He gets in for 1 point of damage with that transaction and also gets rid of the Bowmasters.
Well, he looks like he's going to commit his red mana during his main phase.
He does reveal a dragon. Wow. Okay, so there's 3 damage to you, and your Summit Prowler goes down. This does mean, oh, this is hyper aggressive because he knows that the Lightning Shrieker can finish the game with any land off the top.
Yeah, so he's going to lose his morph. The Tarkir Ifrit
dead.
Gets beaten up in combat, but what he does do is he gets the damage through so that 1 hit from Lightning Shrieker can win this game.
Easily, even over the Airy Bowmasters.
Right. Or a hit from Mardu Scout.
Yeah. Wow, so this is a real nail-biter here. And remember, Yasuoka knows 2 of the cards in Adrian's hand, and he's attacking with both.
What is he?
Take 6. What's the play here? Foe Razor Regent. Wow.
Comes into play, fights, wants to get some counters. He's basically... He's willing to lose to top deck land for Lightning Shrieker.
No, he can block it. He's going to have a 7. He's going to have a huge flyer.
Oh, secure the waste.
Secure the waste for 1 on end step? Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
That's great.
Wow. Now, so secure the waste made a 1/1. And Mardu Scout plus the 1/1 was now enough to get through for Adrian Sullivan.
That's it.
So if Shota had actually left an additional blocker back, he would have been okay. He would have been able to block both creatures.
That's true.
But, I mean, Shota's attack with both creatures, I can't blame him for trying to close the game out before Lightning Shrieker. But I don't know. I mean, did he have to get in all those points of damage?
I'm not sure.
He tried
to set it up for
any kind of random hasty.
He was setting up the win for the next turn. All right, we'll be back right after these messages.
Outfit your Magic collection with the newest Dragons of Tarkir accessories from Ultra Pro. You can see the full array of card sleeves, deck boxes, playmats, and portfolios of your favorite Magic artwork at ultrapro.com. Start on your road to the Pro Tour by playing in a preliminary Pro Tour qualifier. With more than 2,000 WPN locations running events, you're sure to find one near you. Visit magic.wizards.com/pptq for schedules and information.
And welcome back to the feature match area here in Brussels. Let's take a look at what Guillaume Otapa is up to against Nathan Holiday. Whoa. There's a lot going on here. Nathan Holiday has a fully developed board here, though it is all cheap creatures. 1 drop, 2 drop, 1 drop, 3 drop. And it looks like it's facing down a Dirger Nemesis, which has Defender and is just sitting there on defense, holding back the fort. Oh. Minister of
Damage, Minister of Pain, all kinds of things.
Minister of Pain does serious work here. That kills 3 creatures.
Crazy.
Whoa. And I'll note here that Guillaume, it looks like he's also got a Crux of Fate in his hand, too. So
wow.
Control in all formats for Guillaume Wafotapa. He is well known for playing decks of the controlling variety. On the right-hand side of your screen, you can see Yasooka versus Sullivan. We'll probably be jumping back to that once they're underway, but we'll let them get sideboarded and shuffled up and check in on these 2 gentlemen in the meantime. Sultai Emissary for Holiday. Quick double check from Guillaume. Skywise Teachings off the top for Guillaume Wafotapa. He went deep.
His deck looks sweet.
Skywise Teachings is kind of one of those question mark cards. I have found it to be not very good. A little too slow, a little too clunky, asks a little too much setup cost. But it does have the upside of making, if the game goes super long, that you can just make a whole bunch of 2/2 flyers.
Yeah, it's the kind of card that can completely take over the game. If you get it going, you just think it's too hard to get it going?
I do. I think it's too hard to get it going.
Ooh, Acid Spewer Dragon.
Acid Spewer Dragon gets turned face up here. And I think we're going to see Crux of Fate to wipe away this board.
Well, you can't get all of it.
Well, he can't get all of it. He also has Whisk Away in his hand. So I think, yeah, this seems like a solid block here. This is Nathan Holiday thinking, well, my 1/1's not going to do work anyway. He doesn't know about the Crux of Fate, so he thinks it's getting upgraded. But I think from Wafotapa's side, now he doesn't have to worry that he's going to leave Nathan Holiday with a creature after playing Crux.
I don't think he's going to name non-dragons on this board.
No. He's going to kill dragons, and but he also doesn't have to do anything right now. He can play the Whisk Away on the Acid Spewer Dragon, and he's presumably got a blocker for the Manifest. So he's got options. Let's see what he does. He is going to Crux of Fate here.
Yeah, make a guy.
Well, but that thing comes in before, right?
Yeah, but you're naming dragons.
Oh, but you're naming dragons, right, of course.
All right, these guys look like they may settle in for a little while. Should we get back to the main match? I think we should. Yeah, why don't we jump back over to our main match as they're just underway with only a pair of lands each. Adrian Sullivan winning the first game with a hyper-aggressive deck. Yeah, he just threw card advantage to the wind, forced through every point he possibly could, and a Secure the Waste for 1 token was the difference. Herald of Dromica is the creature here for Adrian Sullivan, but it is unfortunately met its match. Yeah, Colossadon Yearling is just a 2/4 for 3 mana, but if you're in the market for blocking... And against Adrian's deck, you are. Absolutely. That was the one interesting point, really, to come out of that first game is how aggressive Yasuoka was being when he could have left blocks up at a few different times and didn't. It's really just the last turn. You wouldn't have attacked with both. I don't know. I mean, it's how many cards are there that actually beat you there? Is it just? I mean, Secure the Waste is rare, so it's tricky to play around that. Okay, here's Glaring Aegis again, which is going to tap down that Colossadon Yearling, although only for a turn, and it's going to allow a decent little attack there from Adrian Sullivan. Formless Nurturing now for Shota Yasooka, who doesn't even look at it, though our spotter Riley does want to take a quick look so that we can inform you as to what it is. It's a forest. Okay. Speaking of manifests, here's Soul Summons now for Adrian.
pressure point to keep that yearling out of commission once again.
Adrian is committed to the beatdown.
He certainly is, though. Yasuoka has a much more healthy life total at this point in the game than he did last time. He just took 4 there to drop him down to 14. And I think the big green creatures are going to start hitting here for Shota Yasuoka. On our back table, Martin Dang from Denmark just defeated Stephen Madden.
Epic Confrontation is what hits for Shota, by the way.
Okay, yeah, off the back of a mob rule, which that card can straight up steal games. They're now evened up at 1-1. Okay, another Herald of Dromica there for Adrian Sullivan. This is where Shota is supposed to start to be able to cast just much bigger creatures and take over this game.
And with a double-digit life total, it feels like he's in pretty good shape.
Indeed. Okay, in comes the Morph. Which is an Airy Bowmasters. Again, one of the better morphs in the set. You know, it's not real flashy. Doesn't jump off the page to you, but when you really break it down, it's quite good at all stages.
A good 3-mana play, a good 4-mana play, and a good 6-mana play.
Right. And it looks like the assault has been fully stopped here. Adrian Sullivan just says go. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not doing anything for the turn. Sarkhan's Rage is a possibility.
Secure the Waste.
1/1s with Secure the Waste. So, you know, he's definitely got options here. It doesn't mean that he's doing nothing, but it has to be a relief for Shota that he's at least not having his life total assaulted here.
Adrian trying to build up for a big War Flare, maybe? Let me see if he actually managed to get one.
Well, it's a Ward Scale Dragon to kick things off here.
Does not have a War Flare in his deck.
And there's the Area Bowmasters being turned face up for Shota Yasuoka on end step. He was fine with using his turn to do that. Again, he feels stable. He's got a Sprinting Warbrute in his hand.
Wow, Adrian has 2 Lightning Shriekers in his deck.
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen anybody play 2.
It's pretty interesting.
The first one's
he won round 1.
Pretty terrible.
He's up a game here.
So
this is just
look,
kind of an all-in beatdown deck.
It's just a
I don't like cards like that, but I like that at least he's put it in a deck that is just all in. Like he's just like, I am going to kill you as fast as possible, and if that doesn't work, then you win. That's fine. Okay, so Feral Krushak is going to rumble into the red zone here. Take a look at Sullivan's hand. He does, in fact, have Secure the Waste and a Lightning Shrieker.
Yeah.
And Sullivan is okay taking 5 damage, dropping him down to 13 from the Feral Krushak. As Yasuoka lines up his next attack, his next main phase here. You can see Adrian Sullivan diligently writing down all the cards that he sees. It's a Glade Watcher there for Shota Yasuoka.
Now wearing a Rune Mark.
Is that a Teamer Rune Mark he just put on?
That is a Teamer Rune Mark.
Wow. You don't see that very often. It gives the creature +2/+2, and it gets trample if he controls a blue or red permanent, which somehow he doesn't. Right? Everything's either green or colorless.
True story.
Still, it's a 5/5 with Defender. But he can fix that little problem by paying a green mana to give it not Defender anymore, but he's got to have Formidable to be able to do that, which he has easily here. So that is actually a pretty significant threat at this point in the game. Sullivan sitting at 18. Yasuoka has seen Secure the Waste in game 1, so he's going to be cognizant of a card like that. He also saw Lightning Shrieker. And then there's just sort of the ever-present threat of dash creatures in general, where, you know, Adrian could dash out 2 things and change the game significantly. Sprinting Warbrute looks like the play here for Yasuoka.
And, I mean, if I was playing against Adrian, I would assume he has Warflare in his deck.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
One
point.
of the big reasons to go into red-white is
and it's very easy to get that
Warflare.
card.
No one else wants it except... Yeah. If there's a red-white player, they usually get most of the Warflares that are opened.
No, it's absolutely true.
I mean, there are none in Adrian's deck, though. I suspect he just didn't see one. He's still going to have to go wide without being able to enhance all those tokens. I mean, that's what he's trying to do.
Okay, Glade Watcher looks like it's had enough. It's ready to rumble. And now it does have trample as well. Let's not forget that. And Yasuoka, very aggressive attack here. He is getting in for a ton, and he's not done yet. Is he attacking for lethal here? 5, 10, 15? He is. Now, Adrian has options. He's not going to die this turn, but this is you got to block something attack. So is this the turn where Adrian fires off Secure the Waste? He can get some pretty nice chump blocks out of the deal. On our back table, Ken Yukihiro from Japan. He's sitting at 7-2. Just defeated Josh Utter Layton 2-0.
Berserker's Onslaught?
Yeah, Berserker's Onslaught apparently made his attack step a lot better than Josh's. He's pretty good at that part.
How high are you on that card?
Not very.
Okay.
Medium.
Playable, but not usually a first pick?
Oh, yeah, I'm not first picking it.
Are you playing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I got to have the right deck.
Got it.
She wouldn't mind it in a deck like Shota Yasuoka's.
Right.
And this is a tough spot here for Sullivan because remember, staying alive is his first priority here, but his deck is not good at just staying alive. He has to actually win this game, and he needs to find a way to make his board state such that he can survive this attack. That part's pretty easy, but also have the ability to get in and finish off Shota at some point during the game because he's just not going to have inevitability here.
Yeah, pretty much has to pull the trigger on Secure the Waste now. Got up to 7 mana, so 6 tokens.
So it sounds like Guillaume Otapa was able to win that game against Nathan Holiday that we saw the Skywise
that was still
Teachings.
the Skywise Teachings game?
Yeah.
Took a while.
It took a while, but it is Guillaume. He's patient. He's not going to
when I'm done.
do anything hasty. So Sullivan is now lining up blocks. He's made it clear. I'll let you know when I'm done. Of course, the way the rules work in Magic is that all of the blocks happen simultaneously. You just get to set them up however you want first before you kind of lock them in as those blocks.
Yeah. Seems like Adrian wants to... Yeah, it's tough. Like you said, he's not so much interested in preserving his life total as he is figuring out a way to win the game eventually.
Right, that's the key here. Like, there's a lot of decks that would be fine with, well, you know what, I'm not dying this turn, and you might have thought I was, you know, in dire straits, but it's not that simple for Sullivan.
I mean, he can do a bunch of double blocking, and, you know, the soldiers can gang up with the heralds, and
then he starts drawing 2-drops.
Right. I mean, he can take down some of Shota's creatures, but, I mean, all the trades are essentially Adrian losing multiple creatures.
Right, and if that's the case, you know, if you start to extrapolate this game out and say, okay, well, let's just say all the dust settles on this, where does this game go from here? And it goes with Shota drawing big green creatures while Adrian draws small white creatures that are good in the early part of the game, which we've surpassed a long time ago here. So this is actually a very difficult spot for Sullivan. I mean, these blocks are going to require, you know, some specific things to optimize. That part's not actually the hard part, though.
All right, he's just going to... Is he killing anything, or is that just a couple?
Chump, and he's going to take 5 from the Trampler and 3 from the Manifest. So he's going to take 8 in the Transact.
Now he's done.
Oh, okay.
Changed it again.
He was chumping the Yearling for some reason, even though the Manifest has 3 power instead of 2. So, okay. Going to take a nice big hit, but he's going to need something pretty special to get in for 14 damage, especially if Yasuoka has anything else. And he does. Tarkir Beastbreaker here is going to pair up with the Bowmasters to potentially block here.
Here's a Lightning Shrieker.
Okay.
How big is this attack? Dash from the Mardu Scout.
So right now, Yasuoka has 2 blockers. These are all warriors, which gets vigilance twice.
Yeah, Yasuoka was kind of expecting Lightning Shrieker. Seems
right, so where does this put him at? 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then I couldn't quite get the last cut there. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
And Yasuoka's at 14.
That's right.
He's actually going to 1 here?
Yeah, and the Lightning Shrieker's getting chump blocked, but not getting in through for any extra damage thanks to the trample.
Wow.
That's not happening, and he would go to 1.
Could Adrian have kept 1 more token alive? Like if
Yes.
Adrian
Yes,
takes 3 damage, he could have had 1 more token and would have hit for lethal there.
Whoa, this is super, super close. And the vigilance is crazy important here. It's so often not that important,
right,
but here it is.
It's gigantic. The fact that Adrian was able to attack with all the soldiers but still have chumps available here.
And get Yasuoka down to 1?
Yeah, it feels like maybe he could have chump blocked with 1 less creature. I mean, it's so easy to say after seeing how it plays out, right? He didn't know what blockers Shota was going to be able to play post-combat.
What are the live totals?
He also didn't
1,
know.
6. Sorry, other way. 1, 6.
Yeah, okay, I was like, we have that the other way, Adrian, hopefully. So can Yasuoka find a victory here? Now, the real big issue for Sullivan here is the trample on the Glade Watcher, because that's going to need to soak up, you know, he can take that hit and chump block the other 2, go to 1 here, but it could leave Yasuoka in a pretty good spot depending on what he's got in his hand here. So this is...
Yeah, chump, go to 1. Hope that 5 attackers on the crackback is enough.
I feel like Sullivan's going to win this, though. Remember, he has Ward Scale Dragon in the air, too.
Right. He's going to put the Herald. He's going to soak up some trample. What's he holding?
Don't know what's in his hand. Can we double check?
Is it still the Mardu Scout from before, right? Or did that die?
Tarkir Ifrit. That is
oh,
lethal.
My goodness.
So all he needs to do here is not die.
Line up all the blockers, play the Tarkir Ifrit.
Does he have 6 mana? Yeah,
1.
he does. You can play it face down and then play 3 mana to flip it face up. And as long as Yasuoka doesn't have the ability to gain life,
Adrian Sullivan's going to win this game?
It does look like that's the case, especially since Yasuoka just passed the turn. Wow. Maybe the clan's hungry. This thing's done. He's going to get him with the Tarkir Ifrit here. Sullivan gets Shota Yasuoka down to 1. Plays a morph. And he's going to attack to get Ward Scale Dragon up so that Yasuoka can't do anything because he's inside of combat. And a Tarkir Ifrit turns face up and pings Yasuoka. Adrian Sullivan wins 2 games to 0. Great games.
I did not think Adrian was going to win that game.
Also, did not think that.
That was impressive.
Secure the waist.
Yeah, he sat on it forever.
He did. He kept flooding. He kept hitting land. He was able to do it for 6.
But I mean, when your red-white aggro deck is being attacked by 20 power worth of green monsters, you don't normally win that game 2 turns later.
No. All right, let's jump over and see what Guillaume Wafotapa and Nathan Holiday are up to. Nathan's on the right side of your screen. And I see the Skywise teachings and nothing else. Over there for Guillaume. Nathan Holiday, though, has, well, presumably a pretty good board here. Yeah, not that great.
With the left toe is good.
Reckless Imp is his main attacker here.
13, I'm a 20.
But he is able to rumble with his whole team here for 5 damage. Of course, the one thing that's going to be on Nathan Holiday's mind at this point is that Crux of Fate, which he did get a chance to see. in the other game. Whose hand?
Nathan has Gravecaller, Butcher, Bathe, and Dragonfire.
Okay. This could be the spot where you just want to play a Silumgar Butcher as a 3/3.
Wafotapa is never playing any creatures somehow.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan Holiday is trying to balance out how much risk he can take on versus a Crux of Fate. That really is going to be the focal point for him, and he's going to start upgrading creatures using his Karsi High Priest, it looks like. What did he just throw away there?
No, he
turned it up. Okay.
He megamorphed. Is that Dragon Whisperer?
Yes, it is. That is Dragon Whisperer over there for Holiday. Two powerful 6-drops in hands for Guillaume.
No creatures, though.
But no creatures, and he is not going to have a lot of time to make this work either. And that Skywise Teachings is looking very miserable at the moment as well.
Not having any impact on the game so far.
No. And that's a tough sell when you're getting beaten down. And you know what? Holiday doesn't even have an aggressive draw.
Well, look at the threat. Look what the threat of that Skywise Teachings is doing, though. Nathan Holiday is not attacking with his...
Pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
It really is. A Whisk Away could be pretty devastating there for Holiday. Could lose his Whisperer, get his input back on top, or a Rat. And he is not going to continue to develop his board. This has to be what Guillaume wants to see, though. He's going to do nothing because he has nothing. And he needs time to resolve that Dragon Lord's prerogative and then take over the game from there. He's got a supplant form as well, which he can use in the middle of combat. But, Nathan Holiday's reluctance to kind of move in here could come back to bite him, as he's just not providing a quick clock. He's not adding to his board, and he's not even attacking with all of his creatures. Acid Spewer Dragon off the top there. And Holiday's going to stay consistent here and attack for 3 more. This is just going to give Wafotapa a lot of time. He's going to be drawing 4 cards on end step. And Holiday still refuses to develop his board. He doesn't want to play into Crux of Fate.
Yeah, so as a result, Guillaume gets to go digging for it.
And he found land, and maybe another land. That was not successful.
Minister of Pain.
It was a Minister of Pain and 3 lands, and now he's finding the Durgar Nemesis as well. Now he can just start playing things to block with, though. Minister of Pain does decent work here, taking out the Rats if he wants it to. But I think he might just rather have a 2/3 blocker.
Whole lot of nothing in Guillaume Wafotapa's hand.
He is really kind of spinning his wheels here, but Nathan Holiday is living in fear of Crux of Fate and kind of letting him do it.
He's also living in fear of the Skywise Teachings.
True.
He's not willing to attack into the threat of an instant plus a monk.
There's that Nemesis face down now for Guillaume Wafotapa, who just has to turn back. Is there a play here? We saw the Butcher, we saw the Gravecaller. Holiday's on 4 lands. He can't do those. Those just aren't options for him at the moment. But he's got a Twin Bolt he can play here to take down the Morph. That's going to get the job done against the Nemesis. So I think if we see Holiday draw a land here, he will actually start to bolster that board. No, he doesn't.
Sultai Emissary.
Yeah.
But the Whisperer is tired of watching.
Indeed. Now that Guillaume is down to only 4 mana, that Whisk Away play isn't available to him, and he can just attack for 5 here and bring Guillaume down to 2.
Sultai Emissary. This is just game 2. Wow.
It's interesting there. Nathan Holiday could have pumped his Dragon Whisperer there twice and gone for the kill. It does open him up to a pretty nasty Whisk Away, where he doesn't get to replay his Whisperer, but It would shut the door on the game if that's what he wanted. And somehow Watanabe still just doesn't have anything going. And Nathan Holiday, while still hasn't hit his 5th land, right as I say that, he draws it. But I think he's going to be able to just win here. What can Watanabe do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can supplant form and activate, and none of that matters as Nathan Holiday evens things up. Now, the clock is starting to become a bit of a consideration here, Randy. They don't have that much time left. You can see
15 minutes?
15 minutes, 30 seconds. It's plenty of time to finish a game of Magic, don't get me wrong. But these have been going a little bit longer since Guillaume's deck is such a hardcore control deck. And the players will be aware, though.
Remember how we said that the winner of the Pat Chapin Paul Rietzel match was likely to win that pod since both their decks was awesome? Were awesome? We forgot about something.
What happened? What?
Eric Froehlich's at that table.
Oh, jeez.
Eric Froehlich doesn't lose very many matches of Magic, it turns out.
Especially not in Limited. I mean, he's been doing well at both, but...
Yeah, Eric Froehlich defeated Patrick Chapin this round. So, Efro...
So he's going to be in the finals of his pod.
Yeah. Efro's 8-2.
Yeah, Efro lost the last 2 matches of his day yesterday.
Yeah, he was the most depressed 6-2 player in the room, I think. 6-2, beginning of the day, you offer somebody 6-2, they probably just take it. But from 6-0?
Yeah. So, just to frame it for you, Randy.
Yeah?
I was saying that Efro doesn't lose a lot in Limited. This season,
yes,
he's winning 78% of his matches.
His limited matches?
Yeah, limited.
78% limited win.
Of his limited matches, yeah.
That's insane.
78%.
It's actually absurd. Yeah, the best winning percentage, you know, John Finkel, Kai Booty, look at the best winning percentages in the history of the Pro Tour. They're like 65%.
Yeah. So if you want to be completely blown away, though, Randy, there's more.
Yeah?
So that's an astonishing win percent for the limited, but you could think, well, he might be a specialist, right? He just he knows limited. No, his overall match win percentage only dips 3%. He's 75%. Yeah, 3 out of 4.
I mean, the sample size is obviously not gigantic. We're talking about 3 tournaments at this stage.
So what we're talking about is a heater. You know, that's just running it up at his GP and PT level. This is
those are premier play.
Yeah,
that's not his Pro Tour. That's
yes,
everything at the GP's put together.
It's incredible, right?
I mean, it's been a running joke, right? The heater is real. The heater is real. You see him talking about the heater he's been on lately. But that's just absurd. And obviously, it's not that he's getting lucky. It's that he's just playing Magic as well as anybody in the world right now.
Absolutely.
Has climbed his way up to number 3 in the overall rankings. Top 8 at the last PT.
Turn 2 Dragon Whisperer here. A really nice little start for Nathan Holiday, though. The Hand of Silumgar does have something to say about it. Remember, the Dragon Whisperer can pick up flying for just red mana, so, you know, if Nathan does want to use that as his main attack force here and sink some mana into it, he could. And instead, he's going to develop his board with a Morph and then just pass a turn back. If you ever manage to get to Formidable with a Dragon Whisperer on the battlefield, you can pay 6 mana to make a 4/4 flying red dragon creature token, and that's usually where the game starts ending in your favor. So we have a Gurmag Drowner that just ate the Hand of Silumgar here. Huh.
Mm-hmm. Why would you want a 2/1 Death Toucher when you can draw a card?
And Guillaume could be aware of, you know, a Tarka Freet comes to mind as well. If Nathan Holiday had played in a Tarka Freet here, Twin Bolt's a thing too. But yeah, I mean, imagine if if that wasn't a Tarka Freet, just flipped it up and attacked him for 8. All right, so Reckless Imp is going to get hard cast here, so it's going to start the attacks later. In the meantime, Dragon Whisperer jumps up into the air.
Oh, that is in fact a Tarka Freet?
No. Wow, it is a Tarka Freet. I didn't actually know that it was. I was just postulating from Guillaume Wafatapa's side, so he cunningly dodged a bullet there for sure. But Holiday chipping away with that last attack, and I think we're going to see a removal spell here, maybe a Flatten.
Mm-hmm. He's got both Deathwind and Flatten available.
Really wants to take down the Lotus Path Genet's flying around there.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of wants to take them both down.
It is true.
Won't have the red mana left over to send Dragon Whisperer to the air. But yeah, I think you take Lotus Path Gen out while Guillaume's tapped out.
Yeah, I mean, the Reckless
chip away with the Imp for a couple.
Just doing nothing otherwise.
But now, Flatten or Deathwind? Decides Flatten.
And gets in there for 2 and passes the turn back. So Guillaume off the top of dropping down to 16 life under some amount of pressure here. But nothing too urgent. He's hit his land drops. He's played some spells. He's moving his game plan forward. He's got a lot of cards in hand as well.
Interesting. He pump fakes 2 mana and peeks at his morph. Is he sending off false tells?
Oh, this is interesting. He's going to dash in a Reckless Imp here.
Send Whisper to the air, maybe?
He didn't do that. I thought he was going to as well.
Oh, he's got an Sultai Emissary he can cast with those last 2 mana.
Okay, he wants to keep using up his mana efficiently here. He's got a Swift Warkite in his hand as Nathan as well, so if this game were to go long and say the Dragon Whisperer were to get killed by, an ultimate price or something like that, could eventually get it back. Swift Warkite, a really powerful card and a nice addition to this red-black deck. It gives it just that top end. 4/4 flyer, good enough in some cases, but you also get a creature back. It also can get you in for extra damage, and here is ultimate price.
Takes down the one that had been sent in with dash.
With the one with dash?
Yeah. I think that he's setting up for a Crux of Fate. The dash gives Nathan the ability to recover pretty quickly from Crux of Fate.
Yeah,
so
it does.
Yeah, no, all right. You'd think you want to kill the one that's been hard cast and it's going to continue to attack. I'm pretty sure I heard Guillaume say the one with dash.
You were right. And Nathan Holiday a little bit crimped on mana here at 4.
Mm-hmm. Especially with an Anticipate coming. I think Guillaume really wants to sweep this board with a Crux of Fate.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on that Swift Warkite to be Nathan Holiday's recovery plan post Crux of Fate. And this signals to Nathan that Crux of Fate incoming.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Tarka Freet gets dead. And he does get left over with a 2/2 manifest, though. So this isn't all bad for Nathan Holiday. Clearly a big blow to his game plan, but he does have action against this type of thing, and a timely swamp off the top is going to get him one step closer to that Swift Warkite as well. And here comes Hardened Berserker.
We'll get to the Warkite one way or the other.
That's right. So next turn, if that Hardened Berserker gets to attack, the Warkite can come in. It's a little awkward, though, because you'd prefer to play the Warkite on your first main phase. You can get back a smallish creature and give it haste, and then it actually goes back to your hand. So it's kind of cool. It comes from the graveyard to the battlefield, can attack that turn, and then goes back to your hand where you can recast it again.
I mean, he gets it back to his hand even if it's a post-combat
Berserker
field. But he did draw land number 6 off the top, so he can Warkite.
Get back to Whisperer. Get in for a couple with the Whisperer plus the Hardened Berserker. Whoa. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
thought he might be flipping up there. I'm like, geez.
No, it's a mountain. He keeps checking it, though. I mean, he's trying to make sure Wafo is as confused as possible about what his face-down creatures are.
Or at least that he respects it.
Whisperer is, in fact, the card that comes out with the Warkite.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take it, and Guillaume off Otapa does. He's going to drop down to 5 here. And on end step, what's happening? Dragonlord's prerogative, but that does mean that Nathan Holiday gets to take back the Whisperer. And guess what? He's got Formidable, too. So now he's got a long-term game plan as well against Guillaume, where
he's also got a dragon and 2 other creatures against an opponent at 5.
If Guillaume is able to even deal with the board state that he has. So he's hitting from different angles here, and Nathan Holliday's made a big push to pick up this match against Guillaume Afotapa here. I mean, Guillaume has played spells consistently throughout the course of this game and just hasn't done anything yet.
Right.
Dragon Lord's prerogative when you're ahead is a complete game breaker, but when you're behind, it is a lot of mana to spend to not affect the board.
Oh, jeez. Bounces the war kite. And peeked over to see if there was anything else that's going to come out. Yes, there are more cards.
There's
that come
plenty.
out.
Yeah, and here is Sibsig Muckdraggers as well for Guillaume. What is he going to get back? Maybe the Lotus Pathogen, maybe the Drowner. Maybe another Muckdraggers. Is that another one there? Yeah, it is. Oh, I love the way this guy plays. I don't think I've ever Muckdragged for a Muckdraggers. That's fantastic.
5 minutes left in this round,
They have 5 minutes left, yeah. Rakshasa Gravecaller off the top for Nathan Holliday, so he has drawn quite well in the late stages here. Even though Guillaume has managed to stabilize for at least a turn cycle.
So how does Nathan play this? He can play the war kite.
Get
attack
back
with like a reckless imp.
Yeah, he can get back an imp and send it into the
probably trade the surveyor, but then the surveyor's dead. Can also play his Dragon Whisperer. That doesn't feel very efficient. He does still have a Death Wind in his hand.
Can Death Wind for 5? I like the war kite here. Just get back on the board.
Nathan seems to agree with you. Reckless Imp is the creature coming back, and just the Imp is going to attack.
And there it goes. Guillaume does not block it. Drops down to 3 and gives Nathan Holliday another option here as far as dashing in to get more damage in next turn.
Handful of cards, but what do they actually do?
Yeah, can he deploy them quickly enough? Because Nathan Holliday has a handful of cards too, and his cards are good.
It's also got a Swift War Kite. Grip full of options. Probably have to leave up Whisk Away for the War Kite.
Yeah, he could play the Updraft Elemental and have a redundant chump block if that's what his plan is. The other Muckdragger is still in hand as well.
So he goes for the Updraft Elemental and 5 untapped lands.
Which is Whisk Away.
Right.
Yeah, I think Holliday just needs to kind of grind him out here. Just 2 minutes left on the clock. Pace of play, not blazing here, but reasonable for sure. They are going to run up against the clock, though, it looks like.
It's a little on the slow side. But from both players.
So he's going to dash in the imp here. Where does this go? The War Kite and the imp are looking to attack here. And everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Guillaume's at 3. Muckdraggers can only attack 1 creature. Gets the Hardened Berserker trigger.
And he is going to take out the Aven Surveyor with Deathwind, which he only had to pay 2 mana for thanks to the Hardened Berserker. And that's still enough to kill the Aven Surveyor and get that thing off the table.
This also leaves him red-red, so they can play the Whisperer post-combat. Have an additional flying blocker next turn.
This is a sweet turn for Holiday.
Yeah, no, I like the way he's played this a lot. Managed to do 3 things on this turn.
The Muckdraggers is going to jump in front of the Hardened Berserker and eat it, in fact. And that means that Guillaume must play Whisk Away on the Warkite. But even then, how excited are you if you're Guillaume to have to see the 3rd time a Swift Warkite hits the battlefield?
Yeah, Berserker dies, but 2 damage. And now Nathan can play Dragon Whisperer.
Yep.
Plus, he'll have the ability to dash that Imp back into play next turn.
Wow, what a great turn for Holiday. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that worked out great.
Sequenced that out perfectly. Got Guillaume down to 1, left himself with 2 creatures plus a dash creature in hand, and he knows he's drawing Swift Warkite, which could give him a haste creature as well.
Yeah, I mean, he can't dash the Imp and also play the Warkite.
That's right.
Especially not if he wants to spend red mana on the Whisperer.
I think he's got a backup Imp in his yard, right?
He does. He does. But I do think giving the Whisperer flying is a relevant thing that Nathan would like to be able to do. Time has now been called, so this is turn 0.
Yep. I feel like Nathan should be able to close this out, but
yeah, I do
that's also Guillaume Wafotapa, and he is the master at just not dying.
Yes.
He has built his Magic career on it in many ways, so I'm not quite ready to say that Nathan has this one locked up. Does feel like he's a favorite, though.
I'm looking at an attack. No way he's going to deal 18 in the next 3 turns, is there?
No. All
right, there's the Muckdragger. Gets the Surveyor back.
You got back Surveyor, right?
He got back Surveyor. He did show him. And I think this is going to be Jeskai Infiltrator as the follow-up play for Guillaume.
Isn't he just dead to 2 flyers?
Yes.
Yeah, he's just dead to the 2 flyers.
Yep, and he just showed him and said, I'm just going to dash this thing in, and I'm going to kill you, and that's going to do it. Nathan Holiday, 2-1 over Guillaume Wafotapa in pretty cool match there. Nice and tight. I like it. And that's the last match down in our feature match area as well. Good stuff down there, though, Randy.
That was a fun round.
Yeah, that was a really fun round. A lot of good action, a lot of great decks down there, too. Not all of them winning, but some really nice stuff. I like Adrian Sullivan's extreme take on the format. I mean,
that cool
isn't my kind of deck. I don't know how viable it is every time, but I like that if you're going to play that way, push it.
Oh, yeah. And dude's 9-1.
And he's 9-1.
I believe, is he undefeated? I don't know what he drafted last time, but he may have drafted that yesterday. That'd be interesting to know.
He could have, yeah. All right, well, they're ready over at the news desk. Let's send it over to Richard Hagan.
Welcome back to the news desk. Yesterday, many of you will have seen round 6 featuring Patrick Chapin. There was a very long judge call, which was on camera. There was a very long discussion with the head judge, which was on camera. There was a lot of discussion about the discussion, which was on camera. We know a lot of you were very uncomfortable with what you saw and heard yesterday. Frankly, we were too, in some respects. We take our responsibility to you, the viewers, very, very seriously, and we don't like it when you're disappointed with what you get from us. It's a live broadcast, and we bring you roughly 40 hours of live coverage over each Pro Tour weekend. And we do our best, and we will continue to do our best to bring you the best coverage that there is of the game that we all love. So if you were disappointed with us yesterday, we were a little disappointed with us too, and we'll try to do better. So moving on, over at the video wall waiting for us is the great Pro Tour champion from Gatecrash, Tom Martell. He is ready with Brian David Marshall. It's time to go inside the draft viewer.